My name is Almut Veraart. I'm a professor of statistics at Imperial College London, and I'm one of the co-organizers of the Mathematics for Energy Systems program. I'm here with my family. I have 2 children. My son is 3.5 years old and my daughter just turned 1. So my children have been attending nursery in London, and in order to participate in the program here in Cambridge, I obviously need some childcare also in Cambridge, and I found out that there's actually a very good nursery just across the street from the INI. So I wanted to essentially send my children to this nursery across the street. And so first of all, I put my name down on the waiting list for that nursery almost a year before the program started, actually, so in order to be able to be offered a place in the right time. And then I applied for childcare support, and that process was actually very straightforward. It was actually a very positive surprise for me because I expected this process to be rather complicated, but there's actually a dedicated website on the INI webpage which says childcare support, and then you can say for what kind of support you're applying, whether you apply for actually help to find the childcare or whether you're applying for financial support, and I only needed to apply actually for financial support. So I filled in this questionnaire, and it was literally only writing a little paragraph explaining that I needed 2 nursery places here in Cambridge in the nursery just across the street from the INI, and I had asked how much that would cost and so on, and so I could really give all the details. And then I sent off this form, and then it was approved very, very quickly. I think it took less than a week or 2, or so. It was a very, very short turnaround time, and then the INI confirmed that they were very happy to support the childcare costs, and yeah, so I was very happy to hear that, because yeah, childcare in the UK is incredibly expensive, and I was very positively surprised that there's so much really generous support for childcare here at the INI. It would have been very difficult for me to attend the program without the childcare support offered by the INI, because I mean my children are still very young, and obviously I want to see them in the mornings and in the evenings. I really needed childcare support in Cambridge so that I can really look after them outside the classical working hours, and without the support by the INI I could have still kind of commuted from London, but then I couldn't have spent much time at the INI. It would have been a very restricted work day. So yeah, it would have been very, very difficult, I would say. And with the setup I have now, I can really participate in the full 4-month program. I can really spend, if I wanted to, up to 10 hours a day here at the INI. I don't try to do that, but it's, I think it's a really perfect arrangement. And also just the fact that they're so close, actually. So if there's any issue at the nursery, I can literally just walk over and see them and check on them, and that's actually very reassuring. Yeah, so the relocation was actually pretty straightforward. I mean, the trip from London to Cambridge is obviously not so long, and we brought lots of toys from London to keep them entertained here in Cambridge. There was a lot of support also from the accommodation team, who helped us to, who essentially provided us a really spacious flat with lots of space, and a baby, a cot bed, a high chair, all these kind of things. We also got the accommodation a little bit earlier, so we could move in essentially a week before the program started, so that we had enough time for the settling in period at the nursery, because the nursery required at least 3 settling in sessions, so we could all do this essentially really before the program started properly, which was very helpful. And then afterwards we could really start. Our program started with a full 1-week-long workshop, and during that week we then already had full childcare, which was really helpful. My children settled very well here at the nursery, which was a big relief, because obviously I was a bit worried that this kind of change might be a bit difficult for them, but they had been obviously used to a nursery situation before, and the nursery here is really good. I'm very, very pleased. They have great staff there, so they settled very well. And now in the mornings, in particular, my son, he always really wants to get out of the house to go to the nursery, which really makes life so much easier. So they are generally very, very happy here, and there are many things to explore for young kids in in Cambridge. So this is actually really, really nice. So yeah, they settled very well, and it has been going really well so far. And also, I mean, for me, it's just really good to know that they're literally just across the street. So when I then come to the INI to focus on my research, I know that my kids are in good hands, and if there is any issue or so, I can really just pop over, check on them that they are okay, and then come back to the institute. And so this is going really well. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I would say for parents with really young children who still have to attend nursery, I think I would really advise them to apply for nursery place well ahead of the start of the program. So I think going on a waiting list maybe half a year or even a year ahead of the program can be very, very useful. The INI also has some links to a special agency, My Family Care, who would essentially help with finding childcare. So I think for people who just get invited to participate in the program at rather short notice, they can still try finding childcare through that agency. So I think that's always an option. But for people who really know already well ahead of time that they will participate in the program, I would advise them to really go on waiting list for nurseries really well ahead of the beginning of the program. For obviously the situation is different when the children are already of school age. I don't have any experience with that yet because my children haven't started school yet, but my understanding is that the INI would then also help looking for suitable school places, or essentially getting in touch with that agency who would then help to find suitable school places for the children. Yeah, so that's the advice I would really give. Get on the waiting list as early as you can, and if it's already too late, then get in touch with that agency, and they will be able to find good childcare even at short notice. And this is, obviously this costs something, getting in touch with that agency, but the INI actually covers the costs of engaging this agency and then finding the support.